It's time. Summon the admin.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your man Magic here, Admin Magic, of course, for Nerds of Combat. And today on the Summon the Admin series, we have Admin Impasse and Admin Negro Lantern, and we are going to be discussing Spider-Man. Of course, with the Summon the Admin series, we're discussing characters, teams, anything ranging from video games to anime, manga, whatever the case may be. And we do character breakdowns and team breakdowns most of the time. So for today, we are going to be doing Spider-Man, Peter Parker and the Spider Mythos. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be briefly going over the history of Spider-Man, where Spider-Man currently is now, the Spider family and Spider Mythos, and how we would handle these characters moving forward. So once again, and for the expert of Spider-Man, that would be me, Admin Magic, and Admin Impasse. And actually, Admin Negro Lantern is, I believe, Scarlet Spider.
Miguel O'Hara, 2099.
Oh, that's right.
Spider-Man
in the house.
In Scarlet Spider Kane. Scarlet Spider Kane.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so the first clone.
So yeah, Kane Parker and Miguel O'Hara, Spider 2099 expert. So just so you know that this is actually coming from people that actually follow these characters. So with that being said, for those of you that don't know who Spider-Man is, where the hell have you been?
Yeah, I mean, the movies, the shows, the animated series, the crazy over-the-top Japanese cartoons.
If you've never even indulged in any of the pop culture, someone at some point in your life has said with great power, which doesn't actually come from the comic, but
exactly.
They have said to you, with great power comes great responsibility.
So Spider-Man, of course, comes from Amazing Fantasy number 15, and he is, I would say, the third most recognizable symbol in the world, only behind Batman and Superman. And he is definitely the heart, and he's definitely the heart of Marvel and the most popular Marvel character. And as Stan Lee put it, Spider-Man is so great because it's just the suit. And anyone from old to young can be Spider-Man. Excelsior. Once again, rest in peace, Stan Lee.
We've lost a lot of good writers.
And
a lot of good artists.
George Perez.
So that's still a sore spot with that one.
Yeah. So, but Amazing Fantasy number 15, Spider-Man, of course, the first teenage superhero. Stan Lee wanted to do away with a teenage sidekick as DC was coming up and doing a lot. So he wanted to come up with a teenage teenage superhero, and he took off immediately with the kids. Of course, he has the powers of a spider, web crawling, blah, blah, blah. We'll get to that later. Just going through.
Because the power system, especially with his whole thing, because I even had to go back and reread and find out about, because a lot of people don't know, even when he wears his suit and his clothes and stuff, it's like a weird molecular thing where he can pass through the suit that allows him to use his stickiness to walls and stuff through his shoes, through his suit.
So yeah, and just going through Amazing number 15. He's been in a plethora of comics. It's too many to name.
Name an event, he's been in it
in one way or another. I will have listed pretty much as much history as you need to know. Now, you, Impasse, have read more than me. I stopped right before volume number 6, the current one. I stopped just before then. So if you can get everybody caught up on the modern day.
God. Do I have to? Okay. Where do I start? Okay, so right now we have the whole situation with Peter after the insane revelations of the Senator, with Harry Osborn being literally responsible for a lot of stuff going on, just to come to find out that Peter's already got another issue with a reoccurring clone of his coming back to come and shake up his life, basically. with the Beyond Corporation, which was basically the whole thing from 2015 with All New, All Different, with Spider-Man inheriting a company from Otto Octavius at the time when he was Superior Spider-Man, Peter getting his body back, inheriting the company, changing the stuff. The company had to go somewhere, and so did the assets. So basically, in comes Beyond Corporation. Next thing you know, Ben Reilly is now working for Beyond Corporation and shows up in a Spider-Man costume while Peter's doing his regular thing. Of course, first question is, why? And let's just say it's a lengthy process. Long story short, Ben was being manipulated by the company, having his memories altered and stuff, well, due to his own choosing. And Peter finds out at the last minute after basically being out of commission through the entire comic series. After a fight with the UFOs at the start of, I want to say, issue 76.
Yeah, I do.
All the way up until, and he doesn't come back into the scene until I want to say around issue 87, 88.
Yeah, because he just got put through the ringer and he just collapsed and passed out. And yeah, he was in the hospital for about 10 issues.
Exactly, because apparently the UFO attack had his spider sense literally attacking his own body at some point. And it was this weird thing with what the Doc Ock hooked up with Aunt May and had to help it. I
will somewhere in here
put
the comics that you need to read for the modern day to get caught up.
Yeah. So basically, long story short, we ended off with Peter going up against Ben. It doesn't go well. Ben ends up with his own issues and after the memory alteration and almost dying, being known as Catechism. And it's weird. Basically, Peter's back to form. He's with Mary Jane, or was with Mary Jane.
Yeah.
The new Amazing Spider-Man series, we see Peter going through the motions and Mary Jane being in another relationship with another man. And of course, they would mislead you to believe that she had kids.
However, he does not have kids of her own. The dude that she is dating is a single father named Paul.
Of course, because they gotta do something like that, of course, and just not explain that at the end of the first issue. And that's basically where Peter is right now in the modern day. Besides that, you got Miles Morales going through the Spider-Verse yet again.
Yeah.
You got Gwen Stacy's Spider-Verse expanding to an insane degree. I don't even know where to begin with that one because that's just getting to the point where I'm like, okay, so are we just giving everyone their own Spider-Verse? And so far, the most promising thing is the return of 2099 with Spider-Man 2099 Exodus Alpha issue 1. We have Miguel O'Hara returning to form back in 2099, even fighting alongside 2099 Ghost Rider, trying to solve a mystery of a couple of crimes going on. Pretty dope.
Silk is still in California with her solo series, still doing good. Jessica Drew, I believe, just got done, of course, with the whole she got her powers fixed because she was in flux. And now she's still doing her own thing. Very good still. It's a good beginning, especially with the high evolutionary. There we go. I almost messed it up. High evolutionary. Her mother, that whole ordeal, you get her origin and things of that nature. That was good. You kind of wane a little bit with the King in Black crap because that
just had to get into everybody's story at some point. You could just have people not be involved.
Civil War 2 over again. Anyways,
oh no.
Okay, I'm sorry we're gonna get sidetracked for a bit. But why? Why do every time you have a big, huge story, can't you just leave some characters out of it? Because I swear, like Secret Empire.
The crazy thing is they left some characters out of it, but the ones that would have actually helped the plot.
Like Secret Empire, you had Civil War 2, you brought in the Cosmic Era, and that messed up everything in Cosmic Marvel. Then you got excuse me. Then you got King of Black, which messes up everything on Earth. And it's just like, why y'all being goofy? But anyways, let's see. We got Miguel, Silk, Jessica Drew, Peter. Let's see. Did I miss anybody?
We got Miles, we got Miguel. I'm not entirely sure of Kane's whereabouts at the time. He pretty much just dropped off the face of the earth at the moment.
Yeah, he's not doing anything as far as I know. Of course, we just got to do what Ben's doing. So yeah, that pretty much gets the core of what the Spider people are doing. And once again, I will put everything of the comics you need to read to catch up on those. Now to get to pretty much the meat and potatoes of this video. How would we pretty much what the power sets is kinda, and how would we handle the Spider-Verse and the Spider-Man mythos going forward? So with that being said, we're going to do the round table and go start with admin impasse. And we're first going to start what are your favorite Spider-Men and how would you handle them? And then how would you handle the rest?
Oh man, where do I start? To this day, Peter Parker's always going to be my favorite. There's nothing I can do about it. He was like the real first Marvel superhero I was introduced to and that I grew attached to right off the bat. And everybody else from there, I would go with Miguel definitely being the strongest second, because I don't care what anybody says. Miguel O'Hara is awesome. The costume's awesome. And the power set was interesting. 2099 was underrated as hell. And then
Still
you got
is.
yeah. If they don't make that movie at some point, but
we'll talk about that in a second.
We'll talk about that in a second. And then you got possibly the third. Got to go with Miles, because Miles definitely grew on me after his introduction into Ultimate Comics and everything, and them trying to make him the successor. I hope at some point they find some middle ground for him where he can thrive more. And he's been doing better. And the solo run, it has been interesting. I can't say I've been bored with any issues and stuff. I am interested to see what happens week to week. So it's doing something. And then you got Silk right after that. And then you got, trying to say, what will my fifth one be? Yep, definitely Scarlet Spider-Kane. Mainly because first clone, I feel like he never really gets his due, even though he definitely played major roles in a lot of different Spider events, only to be never heard from again.
Okay, so admin Negro Lantern, what are your favorites?
Well, as stated when we started, I'm a huge Miguel O'Hara fan, so that's 2099 Spider-Man. For those of y'all who may be more familiar with that. And I am also, again, a Kane Parker fan, huge Kane Parker fan. I know just a moment ago, Impasse said that he saw Miguel as the second strongest. Me personally, I think Kane may be the second strongest.
No. He was talking about a strong second for his favorite.
Yeah. Okay.
Nah, I mean, in general, I don't know really where to scale them in terms of ability and everything. I feel like Miguel is definitely got to be, if we're talking like physical stats and just everything, he has some of the craziest stuff with his like accelerated vision, literally being half human, half spider kind of thing.
Okay, yeah, I thought you were talking about strength wise. Yeah. No. I would say Kane is probably the strongest of all of them, and then Miguel behind Kane. That's what I would say off the top. And
well, that is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I would say Kane mostly because Kane has the transformation to the demigod.
Oh thing. Yeah, the other and everything. Mm-hmm.
And he's also meant to be the version of Parker that's perfect. So it's literally Parker who's not holding back at all times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then of course Miguel is just straight up beastly because he is a lot more Punisher like than Parker classically. But I think these days Ben has become more of the Punisher like Spider-Man these days. Because of course, remember Ben ran around with the M16s. Never forget Ben ran around with the armory. So
Yep.
so yeah, if if we're not so much getting straight to it, like what we would do with the characters, just straight up, man. Um,
Oh,
I
we're
just
about to get
really
to what
want more.
we're about to get to that in a second. Like we're literally about to get to that in
Oh
just a
yeah,
second.
that's literally
Yeah,
the
yeah,
next
yeah. Yeah,
segment.
well, then let me just close it off here. Then with I really, as a 2099 Spider-Man fanatic, let me say that I really just want more of that. That's the most you can take from me as far as this character goes. Just give me more 2099 Spider-Man. I was a believer when nobody else was, and here he is making his way back to the main
Mm-hmm.
continuity. I'm so happy.
Mm.
And my favorite spider people, for those they already know, number one is Jessica Drew, Spider Woman. That
Mm.
is my number one favorite. I've liked her. I liked her because she was different from Peter. I liked her because she wasn't bitten with a spider. She was given powers by Hydra, and of course, then we later find out the High Evolutionary did all his thing, but
Mm-hmm.
she was different from Parker. She could keep up with Parker. She can beat Parker, and yeah, she was kick ass and had a badass body too. Like I'm not gonna kid myself.
Oh yeah.
Not
Oh
gonna-
no, listen. You like what you likes, man. Ain't nothing
so,
wrong with it.
Silk is number two. For me, I liked her intro. Like for me, it's funny because I like a lot of the things because they're different. Peter's third, but Silk for
Mm-hmm.
me, I like the fact of how like they kind of tried to make it almost made it convoluted, but it
Mm-hmm.
almost made enough sense where you could be like, okay, I can I can go
It
with it a little.
almost bordered on convoluted because that whole being trapped for that whole time.
And being bit by the same spider and
It's,
then that whole
mm-hmm.
thing, like it was almost like kind of pushing
Like
it.
you stretching that suspension of disbelief
but
pretty far.
but yeah, no, in the way that they fleshed her out, instead of being some sex-driven hormone woman, where
Yeah, the spider attraction hormones. Yep,
that was so bad. Like the
it
whole
was really
issue, they were fucking like the entire issue. If they were not trying to separate off of each other, they were fucking like.
bad. Hmm.
Oh my god! Oh, that's so funny. But no, and luckily they were both adults at this time because if
Oh yeah, because
if
that would have been problematic as heck if it was like.
but no, yeah, I like Silk. Peter for me is third. You can't go wrong with classic Peter. With great power comes great responsibility. He For everything that they do against him that I hate, he's still one of the most lovable characters in Marvel. Um,
Mhm.
so let me see. Jessica, Silk, Peter. Peter went up because technically Gwen was supposed to be three, but I do not like the direction that they're going with Gwen with the whole ghost spider thing.
Yep.
Like they, uh, so she's
Got
four.
popular enough just that they're gonna ruin everything about her.
Boom, goodbye. So she's four, and then I would probably say Miles is fifth. Now I know some people are gonna be like blasphemy. He should be number one because of,
Eh,
but
they don't get that out of here.
As Impasse put it, like he was great in the beginning. He was great in the beginning, but
Mhm.
now they've almost made him the poster boy for tokenize. And
Exactly.
it's just like you we'll get into what I would do in the character in a minute. But yeah,
Mhm.
Jessica Drew, Silk, Peter, Gwen, Miles. So with that being said, and this is all of us a discussion, um, and I know we've technically had this discussion before. So this is what what would we do with the characters? And not only what we're gonna do with what we would do with them in the comics, we're going to go even beyond that. Something that we didn't do in the Batman video, which we will definitely do later on, is what we would do with them in live action, in video games, and in animation. So I'm just gonna go down the character list, and then we're just gonna go with it. And for me, ultimately, no matter which character it is, I want them out of New York.
It is long overdue.
I want them. Anybody disagree?
You're not going to get a disagreement from me because I would like to see Miguel personally, well, I want Kane to stay the Houston Spider-Man. I love that. I think he remained the Houston Spider-Man because a great thing about that is that his character gets to interact with a lot of characters that no one thinks about. No one thinks about the characters that Kane interacted with in that run, and I think that's the glory of that. You know, a playground to reuse characters that we don't always see, so it doesn't feel like that recycled BS that we seem to keep getting in comics. Just admittedly, you know what I mean. But I would love to see Miguel do his thing in a very woodland or rainforest kind of landscape. Maybe kind of a, I don't know if this expression fits, but kind of a rural truckers kind of town vibe. I would love that. I would absolutely love it.
We're gonna get to Miguel in just a second. But yeah, no, the reason why I said get them out of New York is because the Spider-Man mythos and people fall under the same problem as the Batman mythos. You're under the main person's shadow and you cannot escape it. I don't care what they do. I don't care what powers they get. I don't care anything of that nature. The reason why Silk is doing well, even though you might not hear about her as much, she's in California.
Yep.
Like when Jessica, the reason why Jessica Drew's doing her thing now is because she's either in Boston with Captain Marvel or she's doing her thing out on the other side of the world. As Admin Negro Lantern said, with Kane, he's in Houston. Ben, he was in Vegas. Like when they started to move these characters and you started to see them in different things and their storylines was good, except for the whole Jackal thing. That was But for the most part, when they were out of Peter's shadow and you didn't have the overlooming thing of either an event or Peter in New York, they were able to build. And as Negro Lantern said one more time, you could pull characters that you would have never thought of would have operated in these cities. And it comes for great storytelling. So of course, we're going to break this down once again: comics, live action, animation, and video games. So let's start with Peter Parker. How would we handle Peter Parker in comics?
You know what? As far as Peter goes, I would like to see, and I've said this to you specifically before, that I would, if they have to keep doing all these spider people, I would love if they introduce maybe a handful more, and then they actually do a coalition of spider characters. You know, if they're how do I put this? There should be like a spider family or what are they called? The webbed heroes, right?
Web Warriors.
Web Warriors. There should be a Web Warriors run, you know, and that Web Warriors run should be about the Spider Men all being, or the Spider individuals all being a task force to one another. That should be how they do it, and they go out and they do quadrants of the city. Now, that may be a trope of how I see things because that's also the same thing I thought should have been done with the Bat Family. But I think this fits, especially because it hasn't been done. You know, so as far as the comic goes, I would like to see Peter in a truly mentor role because, dear God, has the man not earned?
I mean, at this point,
Has
How
he
much
not earned
more?
enough uh, um, hero education? Right, that's the way to
Like
put it. Has he
seriously?
not earned enough ass whoopings to be the guy
Like
who not only inspires everyone else wearing his face, because that's what they're doing, and not to
mhm.
inspire everyone else wearing his face and trying to follow in his footsteps, whether they admit it or not. Does he not deserve to actually be that uh, commander for his people, right? Before it's all said and done with Peter Parker, and you ruin his character some kind of way, or you kill him off for maybe just a year, which I really don't ever see because he's basically Marvel's Batman 17 on the shelf, right? Like it, it's he needs to be out of the mask, like in a new design. Oh, dear God, Spider-Man extremely needs a new design, and he needs to be
yeah.
leading the charge. He needs to become um not necessarily Batman, because Batman still needs to do that himself, but he needs to become um Captain America for his side, for the web
Okay,
world.
I can see that.
Yeah, he
Okay.
needs to become Captain America, because it's not that Captain America is the leader of the Avengers, it's that everyone respects him enough to allow him to lead the team. And that's
And
what
that
it is.
everybody goes to him for moral
Yeah,
support or
exactly.
moral compass of
Be-
any level. Like
Because
even the
people get
Illuminati
that
went to
wrong,
him.
right? Because people get that wrong. They say, "Oh, well, Captain America is the leader of the Avengers." No, it's Iron Man. Iron Man's the leader
Mhm.
of the Avengers, but Cap is so well respected. He's the guy, as Impasse just said, everyone goes to. So
Hell, even Namor goes to him.
So,
so
so,
when all
so
these
as an
web
example,
warriors
not
are
to cut you
down,
off, Negro Lantern,
I'm sorry.
as an example, even when he was Hydra Cap,
Hmm.
they trusted his decision so much that they built the Earth encompassing shield because
Hmm.
they trusted his word so much, even though he was Hydra Cap. Like,
Heck,
continue
you
on,
had
Negro
some
Lantern.
heroes sitting here like he's doing all this evil crap, but it's Cap though. Are we sure this isn't? Are we sure this isn't the right thing? Are we? Are we absolutely sure?
Yeah,
Yeah,
man, and I think the great thing too is that like that's really good writing material, because to the younger characters, Peter's been there. To the older characters, Peter's been there. To the characters who fail, Peter's been there. To the characters who are goofy, Peter's been there. To the characters who know when it's time to be serious, Peter's been there. To the characters who have lost something, Peter's been there.
Hmm.
To the characters who are trying to build a life, Peter's been there. Like to the
even
characters who are
his
clones of Peter.
villains.
Uh, uh,
Yeah, Doc Ock is
not to
basically an
mention,
anti-hero now.
now let's be clear. In this squad, characters like Prowler would be there. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Alongside, imagine the dynamic of just trying to write that where it's Prowler and Miles learning to get along with each other. You know what I mean? Are learning to work with each other in this new dynamic, both as Spider-Man. Like,
Hmm.
imagine, bro. Like, well, anyway, from the comic perspective, that's what I would do. Movie perspective wise, with Peter, um, I think it's time that we see Spider-Man take on a real threat. You know what I mean? No more Green Goblins. Lizard is cool, but was handled very badly, because
Hmm.
you need to do something frightening. And so you should have used Lizard, who literally, scratch you, transform you. You know what I mean? That's the Lizard you
Hmm.
should have went with. You should have went with that Lizard who doesn't have any man features whatsoever left.
Yep.
Lizard who actually does take over the city, and now you have to reverse engineer all this chemical compound in order to get all these individuals to go from reptilian creatures to man again. Can you imagine, just for a moment with me, take time out to imagine there's a Spider-Man trailer. If you have this kind of skill to imagine something like this, there's a Spider-Man trailer, and when it's getting to the climactic part of the trailer, you literally see like this rotating camera zoom in from a wide shot of this one tall building where it's all these lizard people going up the building. Tell me you don't want to see that story unfold.
Like seriously, it looks like it would be insane, honestly.
Right. You
Fine.
know, like it's
Fine.
time to see Spider-Man have a real threat. The, pick the creatures of the Spider-Man landscape to make a Spider-Man story. That's not good enough for you. Okay, it's time to stop having Spider-Man fight one character here, one character there. Spider-Man's established. Let's pick up a story where the Spider-Man who's been around has finally pushed the bad guys to team up. You know,
Hmm.
not some situation where it's like, oh, we're all in one room, or we might as well as things unfold. No, have I forget the insect character. What is it? Beetle, right? Beetle, the Spider-Man villain, Beetle.
I believe.
Yeah, I
I
believe
Yeah.
believe.
so.
Well, somebody double check that for me, because but anyway,
I'll put it
the,
there. We'll put it there.
yeah,
Yeah.
the insectoid character, and then someone else who's not who you see a lot. Me myself, I'm a huge fan of the Shocker, and I've always
Hmm.
wanted to see the Shocker turn to a good guy. But regardless, like put the Shocker in it. You know, have these dudes literally not do a Sinister Six thing because you don't need that many, but literally do a thing where it's all about taking Spider-Man out from the beginning of the movie, and you literally have to see Spider-Man go through a whole Ben Affleck Batman versus Superman workout to get it back, you know. And
Hmm.
then in the midst of that, you see some other hero pick up in the middle. So when you get to the climactic part, you know, there's an actual crossover team up instead of three Spider-Man out there. You know, you actually have Spider-Man who linked up with Daredevil. You know, you actually have Spider-Man who linked up with maybe even Ricochet. Forget Ricochet. Introduce the Prodigy to the silver screen.
That would be interesting, honestly.
Yeah. If you don't remember the Prodigy guys, Spider-Man character you might want to check out.
Hmm. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Um. Now that's as far as silver screen, right? That's what I got. But I really like the lizard thing. I really would love to see the lizard thing.
Oh no, the lizard thing sounds extremely interesting because we've never really seen that kind of concept when it feels like Spider-Man's going up against like something that would truly destroy the city. Like
Exactly, yo.
most,
That should be the premise. Like the city's gone. It's Peter. It's
yeah.
gone. Like this is all out. This is you got to do something, bro. We're all
Hmm.
in trouble. You know.
Like crap has hit the fan. We need you to buck up, man.
Yeah, I would love to see Peter get so desperate in that situation that we finally get the actual Spider-Man, and on the silver
Hmm.
screen. I'm talking about Tarantula Spider-Man. That would be an amazing way to take the movie out.
Oh wow. Starting
Yeah,
off with
yeah.
it's
So
been
as
a
far as
minute since I've even seen that concept. They just brought that back with the new Savage Spider-Man series.
oh man, on the silver screen, people would go nuts, bro. People go
Hmm.
heck. Even if you avoided that, just indulge me this one last time. Even if you avoided that, imagine if Spider-Man lost his arm, and then we get the cyborg arm Spider-Man for the first time on
Oh
silver screen.
yeah, from the whole Spider-Man timeline crossover episode from way back in the day.
Yeah,
And wasn't he
imagine on
considered
that
one of the
element.
strongest Spider-Man they needed to complete that mission too?
Yeah.
Everything was on him. Remember that Spider-Man
Yeah.
had been through the ringer. Yo, imagine that this
Hmm.
is a movie where, like, yeah, the scary part happened, and there's only one last hurrah to go. As far as
Exactly.
as far as a video game goes, and forgive me for being long-winded here. I'm too creative for my own good.
Nah, it's
Um,
Go
cool, man.
ahead.
You're on a roll.
uh, as far as the video game goes, the same thing I would want from the comic book. Actually, I would love. I think Spider-Man does really well when you put Spider-Man in team settings, in
Hmm.
video games at least. Because forgive me, I've said this from the beginning. Magic is my witness. Spider-Man PS4 was a very boring game. Had a very good story, but without the DLC, it was a very incomplete game. Super boring.
Hmm.
Super boring game. I love Spider-Man on
Boo,
Avengers
tomatoes,
way
tomatoes,
more.
tomatoes.
It's
Yeah,
just
they're
true.
coming at us already.
It's just true, man. It's just true. It's just true. You cannot convince me that you played the Spider-Man games and Spider-Man PS4 was the pinnacle of that. Because visually, yeah, Spider-Man PS4 is the pinnacle of that. Visually, Spider-Man PS4 has no competition. But
Hmm.
but it's not so visually better than the Amazing series. that came out. The two Spider-Man,
Oh
Amazing
yeah,
Spider-Man games that came out with the
that
movie.
they ended up copying a couple of things from,
Yeah, they
honestly,
pretty
especially
much
like
copied that, and it was like, yo,
what was it,
that
like the accelerated vision thing that they was doing, the running on walls thing, the running
yo,
on top of cars and everything, the crazy.
the outfit thing.
Yep.
Oh man, just not even. Um, again, it wasn't even that good because like in one of those, we actually did get this very apocalyptic like story in the first one where it was like
Mm-hmm.
oh, Spider-Man kind of failed and things are
Yep.
getting out of hand. It
Like,
was incredible
yeah.
that way. It was incredible. And but regardless, like the yeah, four visually beautiful, but when it's said and done after you've gone through the DLC, it's like I'm really just playing this again to see different outfits and cutscenes. Other than that, it's boring. I just keep fighting. I keep chasing cars and fighting on rooftops. That's boring. I enjoy Spider-Man on Avengers way more because he's with a group. I also enjoy him way more because like I can use like PIM particles when I play with Spider-Man stuff like that. So, but regardless, the bread and butter there is that like when Spider-Man is with a team, he's a really dope character. If we all had to honestly put our hands in the hat right now, most of us would hope we pulled out Ultimate Alliance. You know what I mean?
Oh man, the good old days with that one.
Yeah, I mean, if we only had to pick a Spider-Man title, because somebody's gonna be like, well, we're only supposed to be talking about Spider-Man. I mean, most of us would wish we only pulled out Shattered Dimensions.
Which I still have.
It's amazing when you get to play with these optional Spider-Man or with options to add to Spider-Man. The Spider-Man really thrives that way. So I would love to see a video game where that's the emphasis. So if you had to take the idea that I had for the comic book and put it into a landscape for gaming, that's exactly how I would want it to be. I would want it to be just as thorough story wise and environment wise as Lego, as the Marvel Lego games, but I would want it to visually be, Avengers, Spider-Man, PS4, Arkham Knight. I would want it to be visually around there and have that very in-depth combat system the same way. Heck, even if you had to take the combat system from Assassin's Creed, you know what I mean? Like I would want it to be that in depth. Give me nonstop options to play this character the way I want to.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything to add, Impasse, since he is your favorite?
Let's see.
Yo, if he's like, I want to see Spider-Man die, blow my mind.
I mean, the sad part is they've done that and it still didn't amount to anything. But nah, in all honesty, when it comes to Spider-Man in the comics, I think he's more than earned his time to just retire, have a family, and let the other Spider people handle the whole situation. Because at this point, what has he lost that he hasn't gotten back, and what more can he lose?
Oh, not to cut you off. Quick question. Mary Jane, Felicia Hardy, Gwen Stacy. If you had to pick one for
Felicia.
Peter, who are you picking? You only get to pick one.
With me, it's hard to say because my favorite comic book from Spider-Man to date, and probably still one of my top 5 favorite comics, is Spider-Man Blue. And I gotta say, I love the relationship that he has with Mary Jane from that series. It's what made me really respect her as a character and literally grow attached to that relationship, because she's like, this man's still crying over this girl he lost. And I support him with it because that was a major part of his life and everything. And it shows like really knowing the person.
Gotcha.
So it's like, yeah, I still stick with her, but Gwen Stacy's like the strongest second, if not somewhere in that middle ground. It's in between those two.
Negro Lantern?
Oh, I think, had not this situation when Nighthawk happened, I would love to see Peter and Black Cat finally tie that knot, bro.
I mean, nothing wrong with that. They were proactive a lot.
I just don't want to see Peter with a midget. I said what I said.
Will you let go
I
that
said what I said.
That was Doc Ock. The minute Peter came back, he ended the relationship, man.
I said what I said.
Oh God.
Oh man. For those of you that don't know, read Superior Spider-Man.
Exactly.
So I guess we're all just
great series.
Great, very great series. But it's one of the greatest lines that Otto Octavius has ever said. You are the superior Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
And Otto actually swallowed his pride.
Yep. That happened. The guy that literally you could think of 9 ways to Sunday would never say certain phrases in a sentence. That was one of the ones he said.
Yo, let's be clear too. If you're a person who loves like great literature, the progression that happens in the Superior Spider-Man story, probably one of the top 3 progressive storytelling stories in history.
Mm-hmm. And the crazy thing is, it's even improved upon with the Superior Spider-Man series that he had later on, only for them to renege at the last minute, which irked every fan's spirit.
Yeah, I would definitely say Superior Spider-Man is top 3 of Spider-Man story mythos of all time. I would damn near say, except for,
brace yourself, people. He's gonna say One More Day is the greatest of all time.
No,
no,
God, no.
So much stuff ruined because of one thing.
We have to make the fans happy. Going and say magic, let it cross your lips.
No.
No. There's so many things wrong with Spider-Man to date because of that damn.
Spider-Man, which I'm going to mention one of them actually. Spider-Man in Civil War is up there because that was the first superhero major one that crossed over, and it was going so well to that shot. And then they just because one of the great things about that whole like that time after he revealed himself is that you literally get the one above all. He literally comes down and talks to Peter and shows Peter everything that he has accomplished, which is why what we said in the beginning of that man has earned enough to retire.
Seriously, when the God of everything that is literally comes down to give you a pep talk, like, bro, you saved this many people. And this is not even counting the crap you've done with other teams and stuff, like, let's say, Secret Wars and all that other stuff. No, this is just you and maybe some team-ups here and there.
I may not be able to save Aunt May for you. I'll pull some favor, which of course he does. Because it's Peter.
Exactly. Like
Peter got pulled with God.
Yeah, like how it happened, who knows? But just like at this point, they've done every conceivable thing you could think of with Peter when it comes to like, can we take his loved ones away? What would that be like? They've even explored that arc in what was that Spider-Man game with 2099? And it literally happened at the Shattered Dimension.
Web of Shadows, I believe.
No, not Web of Shadows. That was way before those. I'm talking about the one like Edge of
Edge of Time.
Edge of Time. Yeah. Yep, that's it.
Yes,
that one where literally it even phased into the comics and made a lot of sense. It was crazy, but it was one of those stories where I was like, really? Peter ends up being in charge of Alchemax and is literally the bad guy to Miguel?
Oh no, that's one of the greatest reveals in that whole 2099 run, bro.
That's what I was saying. I was like, that blew my mind so hard. I was just like,
that, and then I think the next big thing that was the only thing that touched that was the moment Miguel became worthy of Mjolnir. It was the only other thing that dope that was like,
Because you're sitting there,
Incredible.
you're just like, everything makes sense. Why would they be experimenting on people like this in Alchemax in the future and everything? Why did it seem like certain things aren't adding up? And why does it seem like the guy in charge knows so much about what a Spider-Man would do?
It's Peter, which is why that's also, Civil War, 2099, and Superior Spider-Man. I would put, as far as the mythos goes.
Mm-hmm.
Disagree in the comments if you want to. I don't care.
Yeah, no one cares.
And for me, since I'm not being different, Negro Lantern and Impasse can attest to this. I'm always Gwen Stacy. I am always Team Gwen Stacy. Because of the simple fact of just like with Impasse and Spider-Man Blue, in the main continuity storylines for Peter Parker, this man for years recorded messages for Stacy to the point that Mary Jane was like, "Hey, how's Stacy today?" and was asking questions, and to be like, "Hey, put me in and tell her that I said hello." Like that is
Exactly.
the power of Gwen Stacy. And when she came back, granted,
Clone conspiracy.
I did not like Clone Conspiracy at all, but I like the fact that they even though it was a closure moment, I still love that fact that they had something that was just like, okay, Gwen now gets to save Peter.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like I said, got to me a little bit because, of course,
No, it got to me too. The only problem
Peter,
I had with it was they couldn't make that story work.
no, they can never make a clone series saga. They can never make a clone saga series work, and they just need to stop
And I
trying.
don't know why they keep doing it.
Oh,
They
you
do it with
heathens, why
other
do I
Spider-Men for
surround
some reason.
myself with you heathens?
Oh, we're heathens?
We're heathens now. Okay,
Bro, be
It was
honest.
so good.
it was not
Be honest.
the closest.
Be wholly honest.
The closest one that I liked was Spider Island or Spider Geddon. That's the closest one.
And the only reason for Spider-Geddon for me is because Japanese Spider-Man, giant Megazord, sword moment, Miles Morales, Captain Unit power. Fight me. I bet you will lose.
So for me,
me and you just talked about that the other day. You know that's my thing. You already know.
That made my damn year. Miles getting the freaking unipower, wielding a giant mega sword size sword, fighting more. I'm like,
so for me,
won?
it would be for Gwen Stacy. So yeah. So for Impasse, Mary Jane, Negro Lantern, Black Cat, and for me, Gwen Stacy. Now, Impasse, continue back on to you. You got his whole comics thing down. So what about the silver screen and video games?
Man. As far as the silver screen is concerned, I think we're getting to a decent place after No Way Home. If y'all haven't seen it, spoilers all over the internet. Like, we got most of the live action Spider-Man in dealing with their own issues and stuff. I would want to see that explored more for some of the other ones. Like, mainly, I would want to see a lot of what's going on with Tobey Maguire's after this, because it's like, I want to see what happened in particular with this character after the last point we left him. Like, he lost his friend, Sandman disappears and stuff afterwards, blah, blah, blah. I just want to see how that character developed to the point where he is now, like being that mentor type to every other Spider-Man. Like, literally what Negro Lantern was saying and everything, like Lily being a mentor type. I want to see how he gets to that mentor stage at that point.
Okay. And video games.
All right. As far as video games are concerned, yeah, they need to make more team. I want to see a team Spider-Man series, like literally just him, and you can pick any other version of like the different Spider people, and they get like a different power set, different fighting combat system or something, and they go up against maybe the Inheritors. I would want to see something interesting as far as that effect goes.
Okay. And for me, since he's third on my list, as far as the comics go, yes, let that man retire.
Mhm.
Let Negro Lantern couldn't put it better enough. The man has earned it.
Like seriously, what more do you want from him? He's been rich. He's been poor. He's been different.
I'm getting to that. Also, this man is best friends with the Fantastic Four. This man is just as smart as Iron Man. And bruh, stop having this man be poor.
Get this man a job.
Stop having this man be poor. Stop having him be poor. Stop having him be Drake and starting from the bottom. God damn it! Like what the?
Like we already relate to him. Like we know where he came from and everything. He can have a come up and let it stand.
Bro, let that man have the come up. Let that man have a stable woman in his life. Stop having them be going on some other. Stop. This man has been here since the 60s. Stop!
Exactly.
Just do something else.
Like it's not that hard because come on, how many times are we gonna go in this circle? He's got something. He's got money.
God,
he's got the girl, and he's back down.
I am crying,
bro. I'm gonna. Oh my god! Just it'll be in there somewhere. But bro,
Yeah.
just do something else. Like Spider-Man, Batman. Just do something else.
Like the sad part,
my man is channeling his inner T-Pain, boy. Oh
because here's the thing. The worst part is we've seen examples if they do something else and actually prosper. Like look at Renew Your Vows where they explored like what happened if one more day didn't happen. And you literally see Peter being a parent, literally Mary Jane being a proactive mother and raising a daughter with powers and everything.
And
so much so you bring her
in fights.
Exactly. So much so you bring her in and she has her own comic series in a couple of different continuities. And they even bring her in Dark Ages recently, which was a whole other thing. To the point where you're just like, you see literally Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, Peter Parker and Mary Jane with their daughters chilling and everything. And I'm sitting here like, okay, now I want to see it.
I want to see it. I want to see it.
I want to see it. Where is the team up? Where's the issue with these people hanging out and everything? Like, come on.
Like, it don't make no sense, bro.
It really doesn't.
Let that man be rich. Let that man have a stable relationship. Let that man have kids. And let that man be a mentor. Like,
let the man live.
Like, oh my God. Like, it don't, like, it was cool with Parker Industries. No. And it was good. And it's just, oh my God. Okay, Silver Screen.
Spider-Mobile and a dope-ass suit.
Silver Screen.
Can't have nothing good.
Silver Screen, I like where they're going right now with No Way Home. Pretty much now getting him to be Spider-Man to where he's doing his own thing now. For all of you that called him Iron Man Jr., which was dumb.
In the first place.
He is officially on his own now. He has no more Stark tech.
F y'all. He was basically.
He was not.
He was basically a Tony Stark project.
He was not.
He was Spider-Man. F y'all.
We're not doing this.
It is what it is. We all saw the same movie.
That's why they put it as a joke in the damn No Way Home. For all of you that was making jokes about that, that was for y'all.
Exactly.
I'm just saying that final suit show don't look like Stark Tech.
Oh my God.
You know what?
And for video games, I enjoyed Spider-Man PS4. I will say, however, if it wasn't for the fact that I already know the Mythos as well as I do, and the DLC, I pretty much would have said this was an upgraded Batman Arkham City.
I mean, if we're gonna be honest.
Like, it's just a slightly more updated version of Batman Arkham Knight. Like, if we're just gonna be honest, because Batman to Batman Arkham Knight was ridiculous. Like, so in that case, with that, and Miles Morales, the video game, we'll get to him in a second. That was speaking of Miles Morales, how would we handle him?
Oh God.
So
Uh,
and for me personally, oh yeah, final thing. Peter is the only one that stays in New York.
oh, absolutely.
Peter is the only one that stays in New York, and for me personally, he does this thing in Civil War, not have a Civil War type thing again, because that was cool for that time, but he does the thing it's like he did in Civil War, where he reveals his identity and he becomes the mentor, and he goes in and out of the suit and the mask. There's sometimes where he's in it, but most of the time he's out of it. So that way he can get J. Jonah Jameson off of his ass. He can get the police department off of his ass, and he can just be the mentor type, and they can just leave him alone. Now, moving on, and he's friends with Black Panther too. He's the only person in Black. He's the only I will say wigger that got his hair that got his hair braided by Wakandans, and Black Panther was just like, all right,
I'll allow it.
Yeah, he got pulled in Wakanda, so he should have he has too many friends to still be dealing with the same crap that he has.
Exactly. And way too many people that look up to it. For God's sakes, Deadpool even looks up to him, guys.
Just do something else.
Come on.
But no, moving on to Miles Morales, to me, and I know it's gonna sound, I'm gonna let y'all build off from this. To me, I know it's gonna sound stereotypical, but for the man, for me, should be either in I really want him to be in Miami. I don't give a damn what y'all say. You can say it's stereotypical all you want to, but I would rather have a Spider-Man dealing with the neon and stuff in damn Miami than to have him under Peter Parker's shadow. Now, start with Admin Impasse, work off of that.
Oh, where do we even start with him and his comics and everything? Oh, the headache. Okay. Like, basically from his newest run by I want to say Saladin Ahmed. He's been making strides, and he's had some interesting concepts, but also the biggest issue is he literally just had his own clone conspiracy, and now he's falling through the multiverse as is, just like Peter, because they can't come up with any freaking original. Like, the worst part is he had a good bad guy, because unless, like, for the people that aren't really comic readers and everything, Miles Morales is a Spider-Man that comes from the 1610 universe, the Ultimate Universe. And he was basically, due to the events of Secret Wars 2015, he was rolled into the main 616. Now you got to wonder, what happened to the 616 Miles Morales? Well, they answered it in this series. He literally is a bad guy, and literally going after Miles. Which actually was a pretty dope concept when you think about it, because it's like, okay, Miles, you really don't belong here. He belongs here, and he doesn't want you here. So you're sitting here like, quandary. But as far as the comics are concerned, at this point, I just want him to go on his own, grow up a little bit, because I'm getting tired of them trying to play him off as a child at this point. He's a freaking college student at this point. If they don't just let this boy be a young adult and go about his damn business. And I'm cool with the relationship he has with Starling right now. I do like Starling as a character. I'm glad about the introduction of her. Thank you, Saladin Ahmed, for actually making a love interest that doesn't completely suck. Now, because
or forcing with Gwen Stacy because of the damn animation movie. That was also
don't even get me started. No. Because there were so many relationships of his that I'm sitting here like, okay, first relationship, what was it like? Oh, yeah, she turned out to be a Hydra agent. Second relationship, what was that? Oh, yeah, it was Bombshell, and her mom ended up being a supervillain. Third relationship, oh, it's Gwen Stacy. Oh, God, we're going down the line, aren't we? The fourth one is literally a new character that's actually interesting that I want to know more about. Hell,
Why would you give Miles technically Peter sloppy seconds?
Because let's be honest, he is Peter sloppy seconds to these guys.
Oh yeah.
I'm so glad you said that because that's basically what Miles is. Peter's sloppy
Like
second.
it's sad because he's actually a character that could be so much
I'm gonna,
more
I'm gonna, I'm gonna
interesting.
keep my opinions for my turn though. But we're gonna talk about some shit. You son of a bitch.
The truth will set you free. But as
Yeah.
far as the comics are concerned, I just need him to age up a little bit, move out of the city, go about on his own, maybe start because the idea of Florida isn't bad. I will be interested to see how he goes traveling around a little more, being more of a proactive Spider-Man moving around with us. Because I did like his time with the champions, for instance, being a part of a superhero team and everything.
I'll take that. Negro Lantern. Oh wait, no, never mind. I'm sorry. Silver Screen.
Okay, as far as the movies are concerned,
Because of course, no matter what it is, this will be the introduction of Miles Morales.
oh yeah. As far as the movies are concerned, I want him introduced. I want it done in an organic way, not with the crazy crap they're trying to pull, literally with like I want him to come in when Peter's a little bit older, maybe. Because right now he's just going through his motions and everything. If we're talking like the Peter from the main continuity and everything for the MCU, I want him to go through his trials and stuff, be a little older, and then we get inklings of Miles coming in. When Miles is introduced, I want him to be introduced in the certain age group, but not be drawn too much attention to, like, oh, next Spider-Man coming. No. Like you introduce him as a side thing at the time, and you give him his own stint, away from Peter. Let Peter do his shit and build up Miles. Like get to know the character, show him on the side, just have him start his own thing after he's introduced in one of Peter's things. You know what I mean?
Also, Sony, do not touch him.
For the love of God, stick to the animated. You got lucky once. Stop pushing it. Ugh.
Stay away from live action. We don't trust you anymore.
Because seriously, as far as animation is concerned, I'm comfortable with Into the Spider-Verse as is because it's got Miles in a spot where he can grow and go from there. And Across the Spider-Verse looks interesting enough that I'm not going to go too deep into it with that. As far as the games are concerned, I'm going to leave my judgment for that until the next Spider-Man game that comes out. Because it's supposed to be a tag team between him and Miles Morales. And if they do that right and they actually build on that with the villains and everything, my opinion may change. But otherwise, I would want Miles to have his own game and his own set of villains.
Negro Lantern.
You gonna get this smoke.
Oh, God. Bring it on.
So, as far as the comics go, I feel like Impasse said this because I always bring it up, but he gotta fucking age, bro. He has to fucking age. He fucking has to. It just, oh my God. He has to age. Also, too, I'd like to bring back that super wing thing that was going on with Miles, where it was like the one physical trait that made him stand out was for some reason he had the what's old boy man from Street Fighter who's supposed to be the Bruce Lee parody?
Crap.
It's like Fang something, right?
Yeah, Fei Long. Something like
Fei
that.
Long, you know, Fei Long's wings. Dear God, y'all remember when Miles was drawn like that? Like his wingspan was crazy. Oh my God.
Yep.
Yeah, I would like Miles to age and become like this very football player looking Spider-Man. I would love that. I would love that. That would be awesome. I also think Miles needs a look that accommodates him so much better than the looks he's had so far.
Don't even get me started
I
about the
think the
current
biggest
look of the
problem with Miles
series.
is that Miles doesn't have a dope outfit, and he's kind of with the red and black. That red and black thing is like so lazy. It's just so lazy.
And not just that, we've seen better examples of a costume change for him that were given in the freaking Miles Morales game. Oh God.
Oh man, yeah, the variant, the art, the variant art cover that ended up being turned into a suit in the game, the all lit up one and stuff.
The
Incredible.
2020. Yep.
Very, very incredible look. Super original, and it fit the hip hop vibe they were going for in the character.
Went literally nowhere.
There's this
even though
image I love where somebody did fan art for Miles, and they did like this. It's supposed to be a version of Miles with a symbiote. Well, take the symbiote element out of it, but that hip hop look that they gave him was absolutely perfect. I think that's exactly what should happen with his design. Or if not, playing to that version of Miles that was supposed to be Miles at the end of the road, where he basically had like this tactical soldier look. Just play it.
Okay.
Yeah,
You mean from
yeah, yeah.
Spider-Man the end?
Yeah, like play into it, man.
Okay.
Like just give him a look that's unique unto itself for him,
Heck, even the 2099 look he had was interesting.
And quite often too, my biggest beef with a lot of Spider characters is that I mean, obviously I have my favorites for a reason, right? But a lot of the other Spider characters, such as Miles and Peter, is that they never seem to stick with the tech. Like, dear God, let Miles be smart enough to get him some tech. Stick with it.
Oh yeah.
You gotta fill in the blanks. You gotta fill it in.
He really does. And the crazy thing is he has powers on top of it. So if you fill in the tech, it just keeps adding to it.
Yeah, man. And it screams, hey, here's somebody who's learned from their past mistakes. So
exactly. Let the characters grow.
That's the thing I want directly for him. As far as storyline wise, I want to see Miles with Gwen. And I felt that way before the animated movies because Gwen and Miles were relatively introduced around the same time. So like from the day one, that was my feeling toward both characters. I want to see these two as a couple. That's that for sure. When I saw the animated movie, I was hoping that was the direction the animated movie went in. So I was pretty satisfied with that. As far as the silver screen goes, let me double back real quick. As Impasse said, the character that Miles has been with, the female Falcon, basically that he's been with, are basically Black Vulture. She's cool. She's cool as a character. Take nothing from her. If it works out with her and Miles, that's great. If you let it last, but if not, hey man, I can do without thinking about this what if version of Spider-Man and Vulture got their groove on. Because that's basically what it represents. Stop lying to us.
Exactly.
Don't hate me, bro. I'm just the messenger. So as far as the silver screen goes, I actually don't want a live action Miles Morales. I would love to see the continuation of an animated universe. That's not saying that what Sony did needs to be continued because it's something phenomenal. No, I agree with Impasse wholeheartedly. You got lucky. You got lucky.
Stop pressing it.
Yeah, you pushed so much pop culture into it, people couldn't turn it away. Right?
Yep.
That's what you did. You basically forced a lot of
so many things,
popular
pop
artists
culture
into
references.
It. Yeah, you
art views.
You pushed a lot of popular artists into it, and then you also you pushed a lot of references, like pop culture references into it. So it was like it was really hard for people to turn it down. Not to say that the delivery wasn't good itself, but the movie's mostly a marketing campaign as opposed to a story. You know what I mean? And you did it at a time where what you played on was very vulnerable subject for a lot of people. Which Miles probably should represent that, right? Miles is, of course, the dark-skinned version of Spider-Man. Why shouldn't he represent that touchy subject? And so anyway, I think animated movies should be the direction that Miles continues to go. And that's coming from somebody who said the same thing about the other characters I like. I thought that they should stay animated as well.
Nah, that's dope.
As far as the video games go,
here we go.
Same thing, bro. There's nothing new there. I'd like to see Miles in the squad with the rest of all the other Spider people. Hell, just make one big Into the Spider-Verse video game. Not even Into the Spider-Verse. What was it actually called? The Spider-Verse or whatever? Like the actual comic run?
Yep.
Yeah, just make one huge Spider-Verse game, literally based on what happened in the comics. You know, like just make it and leave
Because
me
everybody
alone.
wants it, you might as well go ham with it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like just yeah, team. Let me be able to play with Miles and the little Japanese girl with the Overwatch Spider-Man.
Yeah, with the over Petty Parker. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but that's what I got for you.
Okay, so for me, like I said, you keep him in, you take him to Miami. You can even say he's still from Brooklyn, and you bring him down to Miami, like I said, to get him out of Peter's shadow because he's already known as the tokenized Spider-Man. Let's try to break away from that as much as possible. As Admin Negro Lantern has said, if you're gonna do hip hop, embrace it all the way.
Yep.
Embrace it all the way. And it's Puerto Rican and hip hop. Embrace that all the way. Like, and that's why I say take him to Miami, because of that simple fact of that is as stereotypical as it is, other than New York, where they have a Puerto Rican Day Parade, is where most of them are. So you have him embrace it. You have him you can even have him go do stuff in Puerto Rico and go that route. As Negro Lantern and Impasse has also said, age them up. Stop having these people be teenagers. Stop.
Like seriously, we got it all from Peter. Like seriously,
stop.
All from Peter.
Stop. Have him age. I would, like I said, the reason why I picked Miami so much is, well, one, I'm a Vice City fan. And not a lot of stuff is actually done for one of the largest cities in the United States. Not a lot of stuff is really done in Miami as far as a comic series go. So, and it would be something different of him going around, going down to South Beach and, you know, doing all this craziness with the drug trade and ICE and, you know, things of that nature, especially since we have him aged up.
I think that's a very liberal choice too. I'm glad that Magic pointed that out. I think that's kind of like a subtle way that most writers say, "Hey, I'm a little left leaning. I don't want to be anywhere near Florida people. We kind of know what they represent here in America." I think that's a great point Magic pointed out, because thinking off the top of my head, I don't know no Miami hero. I don't know him. You got to tell who's the Miami hero. That was an incredible insight that you had there. I just
that was a good juxtaposition.
Yeah, like there's no really Florida heroes, not really. And then, like I said, you can take them through Florida, the Everglades, Key West, things of that nature. Like you could have Miles in Florida to have and be able to do all that. Yeah, age him up, have him still be with old girl. I forget her name. And
Starling,
and have him do his thing down there. As Negro Lantern said, he's friends with Peter Parker. God damn it! Like have him with Tech. Why is he still just now learning about his damn fucking blast? Oh, crap! Oh my god!
Because the worst part is he actually was further with his venom blast and stuff than now.
Just have him be have him be techie. Just have
like
him
heck,
with some tech.
What happened to his electric webbing?
Yeah, so that as far as the comics go, and it's gonna have a theme after Miles Morales. Once we get him out of Peter's shadow, have him as they did with Houston and Kane Parker. Have them bring villains that you would never expect to see, and have him have his own rogues gallery. And then you have the whole Web Warriors thing overall. I like that idea from Negro Lantern. As far as
don't forget, people, Miles is going to fly. It's coming.
Go with that.
Oh no. Now he's using his powers again. Oh no.
As far as the silver screen goes, Miles is coming. It's undeniable at this point. He's coming. We just hope it's done the right way. Um, I agree with Admin Impasse. Just have Peter aged up more and be more of a veteran, and then bring in Miles. And then go through that whole thing. Um, so as far as that goes, just try to do that as much as correctly. My only thing is, once again, Sony, don't touch him.
For the love of all that's holy,
Do not touch
let
him.
it go. You guys have done enough. Venom, Carnage, Morbius. How many lessons do you need?
For failure. Especially when you don't include Spider-Man.
It just stop.
As far as animation goes, as Admin Impasse also said, you got lucky. Don't push it. You got lucky.
You already got Across the Spider-Verse planned, and you're trying to make this a two-parter. Please don't ruin a good thing.
You're pushing it. You're pushing it. And as far as Miles Morales in the video games, he's okay for now. As Admin Impasse said, I will hold my reservations for him in the video games moving forward when he gets to the newest Spider-Man game. But I will take overall Negro Lantern's idea of doing another team up where it's Peter, him, and then you're pulling in more, doing a whole, Into the Spider-Verse thing. And I would like it to be an original, to be honest, an original story.
Exactly.
Just something off kilter from the comics, or the animated series, or animated movie. Sorry.
And if anything, let them all have their own unique kind of system and fighting abilities, because they're all different and individuals, not the same characters.
I don't care how long it takes. It could take you 5 to 10 years. You better make it right. So
exactly.
So now we're getting into what some people would say it's Peter, Miles, and then everybody else. But for us, they are not everybody else. They are actually, to us, mean more than Peter and Miles. So next up is Miguel O'Hara.
Oh man, when you said that, I could hear like the champion music come on, so I can walk down the ring and
since Negro Lantern is the expert, let's start with him.
Go ahead, bro.
Tastes like victory. Yeah, man. So as far as the comics go, it's great that Miguel's back. But there has to be a but. And where Miguel left off, saving the world, was a really good way to send him out, right? To send him out of continuity. Now, the reason to bring him back, there's never going to be a good reason to bring him back, because his solo run shouldn't have ended to begin with. Now, that's neither here nor there. I would like to pick up from where Miguel left off with the tech that Peter made for him. The all new, all different outfit. If you're not familiar, dear God, go check it out. Since I was a child,
please.
I have always felt like 2099 Spider-Man was basically the premise which inspired Batman Beyond. I've always felt like that. And so when I look at Batman Beyond and 2099 Spider-Man, I've always saw them as the same character. And being a Batman fan, of course, this is super cool to me. And when Miguel got that all new, all different outfit, it was like, hey, there's no doubt about it now. These two are the same character. Absolutely no doubt about it. They're 100% the same character now. I love that. I would love to see just this continuation of this very Iron Man like, but from a legitimate Spider-Man approach to the character. I would love to see that as a continuation. And truthfully, you could write up like the story of let's say like Iron Man Extremis, right? just redone as a Spider-Man telling. I think that would be incredible for Miguel to do as the version of Spider-Man who is this Iron Man like individual, but from Spider perspective. So literally, the suit is meant to accommodate this very Spider Sense like uh, mobility. It's meant to accommodate this very acrobatic mobility. It's meant to accommodate this very scientific, mathematical web slinger way of doing combat. Just amazing. I mean, some of the stuff we saw in the all new, all different run for 2099 Spider Man will show you. If you've never read it, check it out. We'll show you exactly what I'm talking about, and you too would understand that we just want that to continue. What was going on with his character there? Just
Mm-hmm.
want more of that.
Indeed.
Just want more of that. And the great thing too is that Miguel is also another character where you're always being introduced to characters that you don't normally think about, and so that's amazing. I would just love to see a continuation of that as far as the comics go. As far as the silver screen goes, I've said this before, I stand by this again. I actually don't want to see a live action version of 2099 Spider-Man. Why? Because again, I don't want to see a live action version of Batman Beyond. I don't. Yeah, I think these are things that should be animated because they'll only be done right animated. Um, because the characters are really demanding. And regardless of how much a studio spends on that budget, there's going to be this director who spends way too much time with real people trying to tell real people stories. I'm not trying to see a comic book uh, uh, soap opera. That's not what I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give me Days of Our Lives with some suits on. Now, if I was watching a TV show about, about Gotham City that actually had Batman, that would be great because the thing about Batman that's important that I don't think enough people who realize who are just casuals is that Batman is a detective, so I just need to see detective stories. Um, with 2099 Spider-Man, that's not the case. He's not a fucking detective. I don't need to see a detective story. I need to see some action. It's about some crazy strength feats.
Mm-hmm.
Miguel, that's where Miguel and Peter differ. Miguel isn't just shoot the web, get the best of the guy. Miguel is, I'm probably going to break your jaw and scratch your face up.
Mm-hmm.
Bite.
Or poison you.
Oh man, bite you too. Never forget. Oh
Exactly.
man, never
Oh
forget.
yeah, there's a reason why he's gotta keep those teeth and that smile a little tight.
Yeah, man. Miguel is dirty, super dirty. That's what I want to see. I want to see this brutal, slim Iron Man just getting your butt. That's what I want to see. So I think
Mm-hmm.
an animated movie would do 2099 Spider-Man real justice, real justice. And please, no timeline jumps. Let's just stay in 2099 or stay in present day if he's back in present day, and let's just go from there.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the video game goes, same thing again. I just want to see them as a squad, playable characters, all mixing it up, combining together. I'll waste no more of the court's time.
Admin impasse.
The man hit pretty much all the beats I was trying to go for. As far as the comics are concerned, if they do not let this man have his own solo run for a prolonged period of time in 2099, like the most interesting concept of Miguel was being in that time period, something we never seen before. What was the future far off like in that timeline and everything? What is this new Spider-Man? How does his powers work? What are the bad guys like in this? What like all this exploration and everything? We still don't even really get to see when they bring 2099 back. I remember when they brought it back for a limited series for a couple of other characters like Punisher, Ghost Rider, Hulk, and literally nothing for Miguel. And you're sitting there just like, well, wasn't there a 2099 Spider-Man? Where'd it go? So all I wanted him to do is just have his own run and develop his world a little more. Like, we know there's a run to go back to. You have a source to work off of. Build on it. Build on the character. Bring back some villains and everything that's from that timeline and actually integrate it and work with it. As far as live action is concerned, he's one of those characters that if they do, they gotta go all in. There can be no half measures for this. Like, you got to be very creative because it's 2099. It's the future. You got to make it interesting, not cyberpunk. Literally every future is cyberpunk. There's you guys can do different things with the future. Oh, God. But if they got to do it, just be creative about it and don't stick to the same mold and make it something interesting. Like, don't make it Blade Runner. Oh. For the love of God, stop making the future Blade
bleak and desolate and dark.
Exactly.
God.
If anything, I'm trying to think of that Netflix series with the whole sleeve concept. Well, what was the name of that one?
Don't know offhand.
He's talking about Altered Carbon.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
If you're gonna go with a future, go with that look.
Okay.
That's the best I can give. But as far as animation is concerned, if you're gonna do them, I would prefer an animated look for Miguel. I feel like that would be amazing if they could do it with like a whole. Basically, go with Batman Beyond's animation style and look, but enhance upon it. More details, more small things that make it stand out. And just really make it creative. Because you know this character, you know what he's going through. Make him look like a monster to a degree when he first gets his stuff together and like slowly tries to figure out how to work with the suit, retract his talons, figure out how to work with the whole teeth situation, and with the problem with his eyes, because a lot of people don't know. Miguel's eyes are ridiculous. He literally has something called Negro Lantern. It's literally accelerated vision, right?
Yes, sir. That's why his eyes are so sensitive. Yep.
Exactly. Like literally to the point where he can see so far and so fast, it looks like everything's moving slower. And I feel like in animation, they could really make that look amazing. So if you go with an animated series, go with a more futuristic look and stick to a more Batman Beyond, maybe semi-Akira, if we want to have fun. But as far as the video games are concerned, just go with the team bit. I mean, at this point, you already did enough with Miguel from Shattered Dimensions to literally Edge of Time. Just go with a Spider-Man team with all the other Spider-Man and just build off that.
And for me, I defer to those two mostly. But honestly, just 2099 everything. Just in the comics, 2099 for longer. If you want to do live action, which I'm starting to really agree with the whole thing of just not having that done because that's a demanding studio. Just keep it animated. Yeah, just 2099. And in the video games, 2099. Just 2099 every, like, you literally have a whole universe to play with through the eyes of a Spider-Man. Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and you can literally build upon it from there. Let's just keep it going. Moving on.
I wanted to wait until after you were done, so I didn't take up time with this. But in general, the questions are, what will we do with the silver screen? So I didn't want to take up that moment either.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
in general, if anybody that can make something happen is listening to this, just do an animated ongoing series that you stand behind for 2099 Spider-Man. Dear God, the amount of toys you could sell just from 2099 Spider-Man
would be absurd.
Right, like it doesn't have to be actual Frank Castle Punisher. It just needs to be the Punisher with a lot of cool stuff on him. Kids will eat that up. Adults will eat
I think his
up.
name is Gallows in the oh god, the name.
Yeah, the one with
so
the weird bike. With the bike.
Yeah.
That bike is so weird because it's like you're super exposed for somebody who's like, yeah, whatever. Like, you know, and the same thing for the Sorcerer Supreme, because I think in 2099 the Doctor Strange is a female. Same
Yeah, I
thing for
believe
Moon
so.
Knight. I think he becomes a female Moon in the future. But yeah, like
Yeah, comics are
Thor,
weird.
Thor becomes like some kind of cultist person who's not
Yep.
actually Thor. Like there's so much you could do if you just did an ongoing series of 2099 Spider-Man. No less than 8 seasons. You could do so much. I've spoke my piece. I've spoke my piece.
Let's see here. We have Kane Parker. So if it's gonna take long at all, have me Negro Lantern start off.
Oh man, Kane. Oh God. Well, as mentioned earlier, when it comes to the comics, uh, if you're not going to do the team up thing, leave Kane in Houston, and dear God, finish telling that story. Like, pick up the story where Kane has come to terms that he'll never make it to Mexico. Old girl doesn't even want to go to Mexico, which is the alien girl that was with him, right? It's the whole reason that Kane was basically finding himself helping a lot of people. She's made him stay there. Kane maybe even opens up because Kane is the Spider-Man that'll steal money from a drug deal. so maybe even having the
like
Kane
he's
opens
literally
up
the
like,
definition of about that life.
but yo, Kane don't believe in doing nothing stupid. So like
Nope.
literally have it to where like Kane may have opened up maybe like a PI business or even more practical because that's how Kane is. Even more practical, maybe like a bounty hunter business where he just hunts down like all the jerks. So
That
like
actually sounds super dope.
and it would be a great way to segue him into all these super D-list villains. Like it would be incredible. Like you
Like
can
they
see
just
an
pop up on a
Avon and
bounty hunter registry. They just like, okay, we need to hunt down this guy. Wait a minute, I remember this guy.
yeah, can you imagine
Oh
that
my
first issue? You
god.
just see Kane like capturing all these other people in a montage, and it's like I haven't seen that character forever.
Like, wait a minute, I remember. Weren't you like an obscure ass Thor villain at one point?
Yo, you know what I mean?
Back in the
yo,
60s?
you'd be like, yo, did he just capture a scroll? What?
Like
Yo, but this would be great. This would oh my god, this would be amazing, amazing. And then you could even do something more interesting. I know if I was writing it, I would have it where like after you see the montage, there's actually like Kane at a bar bitching about helping people, and then like somebody's being rowdy in the bar, and you just see that they keep throwing stuff, breaking stuff, or whatever because they're drunk and being belligerent, and you never see it from their perspective who's doing it. But when the reveal came, it ends up being like somebody like the Gladiator or something crazy like that. And then it just leads to like it just leads Kane down this like super duper dope hole because maybe they get into like a situation, but they end up the fight that they have between each other ends up taking them into like some shady business somewhere else near the bar. Like it would just be awesome that way. I would love it. I would absolutely love it. So that's what I would do with the comic. That's what I would do with the comic, man. Just bring Kane back to Houston, keep it going, show us how miserable this man is to be good. I just love it. And also to change up the transformation deity. Like it was cool when you first introduced it because it was different, but make it look a little better. It's not cool enough. Like I don't know. The look is too soulsy. Just make it look like something else. So as far as the silver screen goes, again, I do not think anybody outside of Peter should be live action. Um, if I can, after now that I've expressed myself, I can sneak it in. I would love to see Kane animated. I would love to see it. He doesn't have to be ongoing, but I'd love to see him stick around for some animated episodes. Kane is just too fun of a character. But it would have to be something very vulgar. If it had to be a solo Kane thing, I would actually want it to be delivered like Hit Monkey. Give me 8 episodes of this character just being vicious to people. Spider-Man who basically is Wolverine, give it to me. 8 episodes is pure blood. Just give it to me.
Yeah, I would watch the hell out of that, honestly.
Yeah, I need it episodic. I don't
Mhm.
want it silver screen, but if it has to be silver screen, because I have to respect the question, I don't think it should be live action. I think it should be animated, and he's just basically the Raphael of the animation. Um, as far if that's fair. As far as video games go, same thing. Give me an option to play with him alongside everyone else.
Admin Impasse.
When it comes to Kane as a character, I always felt like they could have done him so much more justice. Like it felt like his story never really was ever getting finished. It was just always a side thing. Like you introduce a character, you have him be dope for a while. You even give him his own comic series so he can grow a little bit, just to cut it off and make it feel lackluster at the end. And then bring him into a big event where he actually saves the day, even, and then just totally forget about him. I want him to at least finish his story, like with Admin Negro Lantern, because at the end of the day, we deserve a good ending for a good run.
Indeed.
Like the character, he's such a unique onto his own for being a clone, especially the first clone that Jackal made of Peter to be better than Peter, and just not use him and not finish him off. Like, finish the story for him, let him exist in Houston doing his own thing. As far as the movies are concerned, I'm going to have to agree. I don't think we could do a whole live action thing with him because it's way too much convoluted stuff around his origin for if they try to do a live action, there's no way I can really picture them making it work, especially the way they make things work currently. Because I'm not even sure I trust Marvel to get it down right. And I especially don't trust Sony to get it done right. So, as far as animation is concerned, yes, I agree with Negro Lantern. Like, I need to see that animated series. I would love for a limited series with him just going off on a mission, just going through the motions. It just sounds like too much fun to ignore. And as far as the games are concerned, yep, pretty much the same like with all of them. That's probably going to be my consensus for like all the characters. It's just game, all of them together, move on.
I defer to Negro Lantern. Kane, whatever Negro Lantern says about Kane Parker, he's the expert. I defer to him. I don't, and I honestly, the more that I really only think there's only a few characters that we mentioned that could actually probably have their own live action thing. None of the clones. It could really only be Peter, Miles, and Peter, Miles, Jessica can have her own thing because she'll be a part of Hydra. She wouldn't actually,
and she would be a different entity in and of herself.
Yeah, and Silk, maybe, but that's only because of representation, not because of not of anything. And yeah, you're gonna hate me. Not because of anything practical. It would be only because of representation. That's the only reason
we're not gonna kid ourselves.
We're not gonna kid ourselves. There is no way with how the MCU has constructed Spider-Man currently as of this moment that you could think any of the other Spider-Man being brought in would make sense. None of it. So as far as and that would be my consensus on the other characters as far as live action. It doesn't make sense to do actual like live action. Now animated, and we'll get to the others in a second, but for me, Kane, I defer to Negro Lantern. In the comics, like I said, I want all of the Spider people out of Peter's shadow. So keep them in Houston. The only time that I disagree with these two is video games. Because to be honest, I would love to see it would like once again, Peter, Miles, I would love to see Kane as a darker version or the anti-hero version have his own game. Miguel, of course, was 2099. And I think that's really about it. The rest of them I can defer to being in a team. I think Jessica Drew would be the only other one. So five. So Peter, Miles, Miguel, Kane for me, and Jessica Drew. Those are the five that I will stand on that should have their own solo game because they could have something different from just the standard Peter thing. Once again, Peter, Spider-Man games completely. Miles, if you take him out of under Peter's shadow and put him in a different city, he could definitely do his own thing. He has his own different power set that is that is more different than Peter's, to where you could add certain elements. Jessica Drew, which I'll get further in a moment how I actually want that built. Once again, as a Hydra spy first, so you can actually have those elements more so than anything else. Kane, he's the anti-hero, and Miguel 2099. Futuristic setting, build on it. That's for me. I love Negro Lantern's animated series.
Yeah, like seriously, I want to see. Now that he's putting it in my head, I need this. I need this like
that as
religion.
a series. I need that as a series.
Yo, tell me you wouldn't love to see like an Easter egg or a reference to like the Wolverine coming out the tank moment where you just see Kane let the fucking piercers go. I would love to see that. I would love to see Wolverine in the episode where Kane stabs him in the heart. That would be amazing. Oh my god!
And just literally see how that goes through. That would be insane.
Oh my god. Ben Riley, aka the Jackal.
Oh.
Hey, I'll go first because I'm gonna skip over a lot of stuff. I don't have a lot to say about Ben.
Yeah.
The video game, you can tell what I'm gonna say at this point.
Yeah.
As far as Ben go, it's not so much that I want to see Ben on a silver screen. It's that I think that Peter should adopt the outfit. I think we should at least see that outfit on silver screen like come to fruition. And that's all I have to say about Ben. Other than that, I used to be bigger on Ben, but Ben turned into another character later on in the comics, which was kind of a direction where it was like you can clearly tell Marvel in general doesn't know what to do with the character, so they keep hiring writers who don't know what to do with the character. So he's pretty much everywhere and everything now. There's nothing unique about Ben anymore. And to be clear, Ben was literally Peter. That's the thing. Ben was Peter. So like that's also why I am of the mind that Peter should wear this outfit on the big screen. Like people talk about, oh, we should see Toby, Tom Holland, and Andrew all in the same movie. Hey, when we did see them, the best way they had showed us Toby was that because they established Toby had been doing his thing this whole time. He should have been rocking the Ben suit. Instead of giving us that Toby's still in the same suit from 2001, 2, and all that, like it should have been Tobey Maguire shows up in the Ben Riley outfit because he's still been going at it. Now I know somebody is going to say, "Oh well, all those tubes or those C2O tubes on Ben are supposed to be web shooter." It didn't have to be that in the context of the movie. It could have literally been other like smoke bombs or what have you, adhesives, maybe even sleeping gases that Peter has concocted because he had been at this for so long. After all, he does tell Doc Ock, "I'm trying."
So
like I'm trying, it's day by day.
For
me,
you
know what I'm saying? So that's just how I feel about that. That's the only thing I have to say about Ben.
Okay.
For me, I'm just gonna keep it short too, because I'm not really high on Ben either. I think the only time that I found him interesting was when he was the Jackal. If there was anything,
mainly because of the twist.
Yeah. If anything, I like if I had to compare them, I like Kane to be the Jason Todd of the Spider Family. And I want Ben to be the anti-villain, I guess is the better way to put it. Because Ben should pretty much be a Jackal type. to where he's a villain, but he still has that hero is in him, so he won't go too far, but he pushes it a lot. Like into he's damn near into villainy, but it's something that always pulls him back from being truly a villain. And I think that would work for Ben more. I liked when he was in Vegas. As far as animated goes or live action, he doesn't work in live action. He really doesn't work in animation either. You can have him into the Spider-Verse and that's Ben. In the video games, I'll defer him being in the team game. Maybe. We already got like 7 of them at this point that are actually individualistic. Ben is pretty much, as they said, is pretty much Peter. Unless you go with and this is the only time that I'll disagree. Unless you give him to be the Jackal and have him have that twist, then all bets are off. I want him to be his own thing and everything like that. But if you keep him having to be a spider person, like, no, he's Peter. No. But if you have him be the Jackal, you can have him do so much more as the Jackal type than you could ever have him be as a spider person. So that's my only thing.
As for me, when it comes to Ben, if I look a little tired over top of it, it's because I got done rereading whatever they did with Beyond Corporation again, because I wanted to make sure I was fully consensus on my thought about this. Yeah, they need to just make Ben a villain. Like, I'm sorry, they tried their best. At this point, he makes a better villain than he does make a hero. Like he's tried everything they could think of. They tried to force this square peg in this round circle, and it's not gonna work. They had hope in the Clone Saga all the way back in the day when you didn't know whether Ben was the clone or whether Peter was the clone. You could get away with that. But now, no. Make him a villain and move past it. As far as the silver screen is concerned, nah. Animated, maybe a cameo. Video games, it's pretty much the same as everybody else. But that's about it.
Let's get it. Controversy time. Ghost Spider. Gwen Stacy. I know let's go with Negro Lantern because I know you're probably going to be a little bit quicker.
Oh yeah. She should be begging Miles Morales.
Oh my God.
End of story.
Anything else to that effect?
Let me come back, okay? Because somebody gonna be like, he thinks she's a tool for the man and all that. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. Okay, she's clearly a badass. She got the little web shooting down, all that stuff. She got a rock band and all that. I'm just saying the music they can make together. Look, all I'm saying is.
Have Miles
if Miles is a
at the
rapper and she's like basically the paramour of the Spider family, I'm just saying there's some great music we could have there, especially if they were very invested in the content being made. That's all I'm saying. If they both were sharing the same passion, we get some damn good music. I would buy that Marvel soundtrack. I'm just saying.
It would be a dope soundtrack. All right, as far as comics are concerned and everything, with Ghost Spider, it's one of those weird situations where I like what they were doing when they were introducing her. I like the way the story went with that. But as far as the Spider-Verse, giving her own Spider-Verse thing, there's even one where she's magic, and I'm not cool with this. I'm like, this is just you guys running out of options at this point, and it's not helping me. It's making me support you less. Stop. Just stop. As far as the comics go, I want her to just continue with her own storyline and build on her relationship with everyone in that universe as is. Maybe run into Miles again, but as far as that I'm concerned, just let her be separate in her own damn universe. Stop trying to blend her in with everybody else's shit. The whole point of her being in that universe is to have another universe. And then as far as live action goes, I really don't know about her. I mean, maybe in a Spider-Verse live action movie, they could cameo her. But as far as story-wise and everything, I mean, they would have to do a wholly independent thing. It would have to be not connected to any of Peter's stuff, any of that stuff whatsoever. Just her own separate movie in her own universe. And it could never connect. No. As far as animated goes, her own limited series wouldn't be fine. I mean, I would take at least 6 episodes of it. I would enjoy that. Like, as far as the game goes, pretty much the same consensus.
Yeah. So for me, if you're keeping it Earth 65, which is the original universe that she come from, then you can go balls to the walls with it. As far as comics, you actually didn't have that bad of a run in her comic when you first introduced her. It's actually quite nice. Like I said, and she can't do live action. That doesn't work. Animated, like I said, I wouldn't mind seeing a small animated TV series. Would work. Video games, if you're keeping it Earth 65, keep it in Earth 65. Now, however, since she is now in the Prime Marvel universe, and as far as video games goes, I wish they would do, and I guess we'll do this. I guess I'll say this also if they put her in the main Marvel universe. In the comics goes, if she is going to be in the main Marvel universe, once again, get her out of New York. But it makes it hard because she's Gwen Stacy.
You can't have her not be involved with Peter.
Yeah, it's Gwen Stacy. So it's just like, do you solidify the fact that Gwen and Peter will never be a thing and have her with Black Cat or Mary Jane? Or do you try and have it work? Since Peter died in her verse and Gwen died in his, do you try it? And for me, no. Nope. I liked Gwen when she was the person that loved Peter for Peter. That's the Gwen that I like. I liked her for when she loved Peter for Peter, which is why it's very hard for me to want her in the main Marvel universe. But if you have to have her in here, once again, keep her away from Peter. Once again, I always say all the Spider people go away from Peter. Or controversy time. You have Peter retire and she takes over. Gwen Stacy is the only one, if you had to keep her in the main Marvel universe, is the only one that stays in New York. Everybody,
I guess that works because she is from New York in her universe. So
yeah, she's the only one that stays.
Peter shouldn't be allowed to die.
Oh no, I will never. I will never wish death upon Peter.
I think Peter should become a Marvel zombie.
Oh my god!
And then be imbued with the Unipower.
Oh my god!
You mean like they tried to do in Marvel Zombies?
No. I mean legitimately, like in the 616. Well, okay, the zombie part is an exaggeration, but I do think I mean I'm not totally against it though. I hate zombies, so you know.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I think something tragic should happen to Peter, and then the Unipower comes to him. Right? Like there's this universal agreement that Peter Parker must be protected.
I can see that. I know. I know.
Mhm.
To be honest
Oh
with you,
yeah, if God's your wingman at this
yeah,
point, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it should play into a lot of things because don't never forget about Madam Web. Never forget Madam Web, right? So
Hmm.
I think there's a lot of things that play into it, right? And it's like until Mephisto ceases to be, Peter Parker must cease to be.
So yeah,
Hmm.
No, I
Like,
would. So I agree with that.
yeah, I think Peter like should basically like be imbued with the actual Captain Universe power and become like the Spider-Man Captain Universe, who then mentors the rest of the fucking Web Warriors. I stand by that.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt. I wouldn't. I don't take that away from you. Like I said,
Hmm.
he's homies with God. What more can you ask for? But as far as Gwen goes, yeah, if you keep her in the main Marvel universe, she's the only one that can be in New York other than Peter. Um, Other than that, everything else has to be in Earth 65, or she's just a cameo character. That's it.
Hmm.
Um, so then we got Silk.
I like Silk, man. And what's crazy is my like for Silk is very facetious. I love her outfit. I just love that
Hmm.
outfit, man. I love it.
Her design is dope as hell for a character that they barely use for some reason.
Oh, I'm sorry, not to cut you off. I forgot to go into explanation. Since she's a rocker, bring in Spider Punk's abilities almost for Spider Gwen. Have
That
her
actually makes a crazy amount of sense.
Black Canary, the Black Canary rocker music. Bring music rocker Black Canary into Gwen Stacy, into Spider Gwen, since that was a major aspect of her character with the Mary Janes.
Hmm.
Have that when you teleported her to the Marvel universe, you should have had her become Spider Punk Black Canary esque, where music was her thing. And music was incorporated, since once again we're going with the Spider Verse type deal, where we're going all in on hip hop with Miles Morales. Go all in with rock and ballet with Gwen Stacy. At least that Gwen Stacy. And
Hmm.
I think that would be such a dope concept, because her powers, once again, because even though she has this rock ballet powers, you still have to keep it within a Spider-Man format, which I think would be dope. Heck, you could do like Doctor Strange was doing in the Multiverse of Madness, with the music, with her
Hmm.
webs, and that would be dope.
Oh, that would be insane, honestly.
Exactly. So yeah, and so Admin Negro Lantern doesn't like Silk except for the outfit.
Yeah, like nothing against her, but the best thing about her is that outfit. That outfit is just too dope.
And of
Hmm.
course with
And for the record, I'm not talking about when she webbed herself up, you purrs.
Yeah,
yeah, let's not.
because that's
No,
the first one.
we'll
All
go
of you
to
men, they want to say men of culture.
yeah, all you men of culture will go to. Oh yeah, I loved her in the web. No, her
No,
actual suit.
exactly.
Heathens, perverts.
Grow the fuck up. But as
um,
far as like, oh my bad.
yeah,
As far as the character is concerned, in the comics, I actually like her place right now with her solo series. I hope they keep that going. At least, God willing, let it get into like at least the 40s, maybe the 30s, please. And then, as far as live action is concerned, it could work with her.
she'll
A
only be in there for
very
representation.
slim chance it could work with her, but it would not be immediate. No, this would have to be one of those things that they just spring out of nowhere as a surprise or some crap,
And you know what
and
the
she's
funny
just
thing is?
there.
Not to cut you off, I think the only way that this would work is if they did it like Shang-Chi.
That's what I'm saying.
Like they have to bring in heavy, like they have to bring in her culture heavy, which is why it pisses me off, because it's just like the only reason why she'll make it is because of representation.
Exactly. Embrace the stereotypes.
Just oh my god. Even though she, like I said, her newest run is dope. But for me, like I said, and I like what they're doing in the comics now. Once again, I would want her to be different from Peter in some sort of way. Um, I actually, since they did bring in the spider pheromone crap, I would actually like to have that worked in a different way. Have that
Maybe
work,
like the trigger scent, like with Laura Kenny, maybe, or something. I don't know.
something along those lines. Have her have her be a black. I was gonna, yeah, no, have her be the Black Widow spider. I would love that concept, to where she's not a femme fatale, you pervs, but she is still she still is different, and things of that nature. For as far as that, once again, live action and animation, she's a cameo. Like that's, yeah. And in the video games, she's a cameo.
Oh yeah.
Unless you decide to actually build her to be different, she's a cameo best.
And if you're not building her to be different, don't do it. If she's different in the games, you make her shoot the webs out of her fingers.
Yeah, okay. Madam Lady Deathstrike. I got you. And then last but not least, Jessica Drew.
So, Lady Powerhouse Spider. That's basically what I think when I think Jessica Drew. I think she should be folded back into the land. Look, this is truly what I think. I think that Jessica should actually be, in my hopes for what happens to Peter. I think Jessica should actually be the second in command. I think there's no.
I mean, that
I
makes
think
a lot
there's-
of sense, because she is more experienced than a lot of the other ones when it comes to a tactical mindset and actually being an agent.
What Batman and Kate Kane was supposed to be. You bastards, fuck that up. I hate you for
I think
that
that
so
works, bro.
much.
I mean, if I'm wrong, I would love to hear the argument that says what I'm saying is very off kilter, but I don't see it. I think I'm a very practical person. I also think there's a shock and awe factor there that works. And
Nah, you're
I'm
no.
sorry, and I think this also too would give us consistency for her character.
Oh
This
yeah.
position would be so like staple fueled that there's no way you could get rid of her as easily.
Admin in. Continue on Legoland if you have. Like, we'll just go. I'll be last.
I'll end it up with this. Imagine to get a story where the person training you isn't Peter. Peter's your guide. The guy who's keeping everybody together. Again, he's the beacon. But your actual field leader is freaking Jessica. Come on now. Jessica is a character who doesn't like wasting her time either.
Not to mention,
she would make
very
an
level-headed.
commander. Yeah, or I'm sorry, an incredible lieutenant commander. But like, yeah, I think so, man. I think that's how I feel as far as the comics go with her. As far as the silver screen, I would love to see a live action Spider-Woman TV series. Like an episodic live action.
I would actually agree with that. I don't think she needs a movie. I think she needs a series.
Yeah, I would actually, and I'm gonna get into my point in a minute, since she's my favorite.
Well, I don't have nothing else to say, man, because I said what I said about the game, so it's on you, man.
Yeah, so I'll take it up. As far as the comics are concerned, I love the direction that they're going with the character. I'm glad that they're giving her some shine and everything. People, support good character development. Support good characters, please, so they stop cranking out the same shit on repeat.
Or that pregnancy bullshit.
We do not speak of that.
That and that's the thing.
Oh,
Almost like
God.
Civil. I will speak on it for a couple seconds.
Mhm.
That storyline almost destroyed her as a character. Like it almost brought her to the brink of you can't bring her back because of that. And the same thing like Civil War II with Carol Danvers. Like you in literally one swing, you almost made Carol Danvers what's the word? Unredeemable.
Yeah, almost like with freaking Heroes in Crisis with Wally West.
Yeah, you have to understand, like you cannot do these types of stories to where it's just where you take the character so far out of in left field that it's just like, bro, what are you doing? Heroes in Crisis with Wally West and Harley Quinn. That was
You're
dumb.
sitting there like, okay, Harley Quinn just beat Batman and has Wonder Woman's lasso and managed to get away from all three of them with Superman. Not going to explain that, but okay. Wally West ends up killing a bunch of heroes because he can't control his Speed Force powers because he's in an emotional crisis. When we've seen him in an emotional crisis with his wife actually dying.
Carol Danvers in Civil War II being irrational. Carol Danvers is hard-headed. That's always been a staple of her character, but she has never been irrational.
This is the girl that literally saved Jessica Jones during her whole time period with the Purple Man and everything. Rational was her mindset for a legitimate majority of the time for her character.
Once again, hard-headed, punch first, ask questions later, but never irrational. To go as far as to believe some inhuman fake god that ends up going to be an abstract, which you pretty much
make that make sense.
You pretty much made her kill Cosmic Marvel. Cosmic Marvel has never truly recovered as good as it was before Civil War II, and she was the spearhead of that. And I will almost never forgive you for that.
Because literally, we had the Ultimates, man. We had it. We had something great.
She was that team.
It was right there. It was right there. The keys to the kingdom were right. It was right in our hands.
Whoever's watching this, I want you to remember this moment in the video right here, where these two just started giving you that Thanos speech. I know what it's like to lose. Turns your legs to jelly. These men are broken.
Because why? It was so much good content.
The Guardians of the
changing the
Galaxy
landscape. They were fixing everything. So much was being fixed at one point. It was insane.
Like I have to hold back this because y'all make me angry.
Like
because the Ultimates and the Guardians of the Galaxy at that time was the two best comics in Marvel, and you destroyed them with Civil War II with Carol, who was a part of both teams. And the only reason why they came down there is because of her, and you knew that, you bastards.
And the worst part was it was a promotional for movie.
You cut out for a second. You cut out. I think it's because they felt our anger.
Like they really felt it, because the thing was, this was a promotional for the Civil.
Yo, it's just not meant for him to say it. It's not meant for him to say it.
It's not, Charles.
But if you obviously can deduce that the man is trying to say it was a promotional move to help build the hype for the Civil War movie that was coming out around the same time, which for those of you who may not understand, Civil War II, it's not that it's a terrible story, it's that it's terrible in how the story it unfolds and ends, because it clearly needed more it needed more to be a full course meal. And the thing that gets people like us is that it ruined all the incredible content that was on the shelf in general at the time. It was like there was this beautiful moment of soliloquy where
All new,
everything that Marvel was
all new,
putting
all
out,
different was beautiful. It was.
It
everything,
really was.
It was.
everything was just incredible. I mean, Ant-Man, juicy, Black Panther. Even though Black Panther was great, period. But again, Civil War II ended up ruining all the things.
Mhm.
Infamous Iron Man with Doctor Doom taking over as the suit after Secret Wars.
Oh no,
Heck, Laura Kenny as Wolverine for X-23 was actually not bad.
mind you, Infamous was part of the problem because these were all things that happened due to what Carol did, and so it was like
Mhm.
Invincible Iron Man at the time with the Prime Model 51 armor. Oh my god!
Yeah.
Just
So
Mm.
before we go into a tangent, in fact, that'll be its own video.
Oh yeah,
But
the irreparable damage they have done to their own cosmic landscape
yeah,
that they're still trying to fix now.
yeah. But for me, Jessica Drew, I take Admin Negro Lantern. I'll actually defer. If I'll defer if she's not made second in command. Because I do like the second in command idea. Other than Peter, she has the most experience, the most prowess, intelligence, things of that nature. If she is not second in command, I like the spy aspect of her. I like the fact that she does the work. She does the work that no other Spider-Man does.
The recon. Can't go wrong.
She does the recon, the spy work, the spy network, the she brings in the high evolutionary pretty much. I would like to see that continue. Would love to have seen her continue to work with the high evolutionary in that aspect of things. Also, welcome back, Adam and Impasse.
Yeah, because you gotta love technology when it's having fun.
As far like, and she's the only other, like I said, Peter, Miles, Miguel, Kane, and her. Those are the only ones that can have their own solo animated series, television series where you can go in a different direction, unless you keep the others in their own separate universes. Once again, like her whole spy and recon game for me, being a former agent of high, you could do so much with Jessica Drew just in that aspect alone that it could keep you interested, which is why her current run is so good. It really is.
Support good content.
Exactly.
Please.
Because it's really, really good. And
we need more of it.
And that's the same with like I said, Silver Screen. She's one of the 5 that can do her own thing, both in live action and in animation. The comics. Also, a buddy cop show with Carol Danvers.
Y'all
don't do, I love the friendship that they have in the comics, and you can continue to have that carry on into animation and into live action. Just make Carol Danvers better, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
And in video games, once again, she's one of the 5 that you can actually build upon on her own. Where she doesn't need to be, she is unique into her own self. Spy games, 007, all that crap. Put it on Jessica Drew. That's her. Once again, a buddy cop thing with Carol Danvers. Put that in the game. You could have that as a tag team, and it would work. That's Jessica Drew in a nutshell. So, of course, And I think the only thing other than that would be villains, but that's
a whole other thing. We don't got time for that.
yeah. We will do.
It's already yeah.
We will do villains, and then we will do villains, and we will do Madam Web and that whole thing in a separate video. Welcome. This is I'm pretty sure probably by the end of this will be our longest Summon the Advent series to date.
Oh, definitely.
So until the X-Men.
Oh no. Oh god, that one's gonna be so long. Oh, I'm not ready for the time.
But yes, this is part 1 of Spider-Man, the Mythos. For Admin Impasse, and for Admin Negro Lantern, I am Admin Magic. This has, of course, been some of the Atmosphere. Spider-Man, take care. Have a good one. Peace. And be ready for part 2 in a couple weeks.
Yep.